France stands as a key country in both Europe and globally. With a population of 68 million, it ranks as Europe's third largest in terms of people. Its economy, which is the world's seventh biggest, is similar in scale to India's, despite India having a population 20 times larger. French language and culture are celebrated worldwide. Moreover, France's military funding is the 8th highest globally, and it has military bases around the world. This positions France as a significant global power, a status it has maintained for hundreds of years. Geography. Now, it's quite surprising that almost a third of France is largely uninhabited, which has been a factor in its decreasing global influence over the years. France is often called El Hexagon because its shape resembles a hexagon, making it easy to use geometric principles to analyze its regions, population, and history. For example, drawing a line from Le Havre on the English Channel to Marseille on the Mediterranean divides France in half. However, 60% of the population lives east of this line, while only 40% lives to the west, a difference more apparent on a population density map. Interestingly, there's a vast area in France, almost 1,000 kilometers long and 400 kilometers wide, making up about a third of the country's land, similar in size to Belarus. This area, known as France's empty diagonal, has a low population density of about 30 people per square kilometer, comparable to West Virginia in the USA. Though it's not truly empty, it's sparsely populated compared to other parts of France and Europe, where the average population density is around 120 people per square kilometer. For comparison, Germany's population density is 232 people per square kilometer, and England's is about 270, making them much more densely populated than the empty diagonal in France. France is organized into 18 regions, which are then divided into departments and further into communes, a system somewhat akin to how the United States is divided into states and counties. The department with the fewest people in France is Lozère, home to just 76,000 residents across an area nearly as large as the state of Palestine, which has over 5 million inhabitants. In fact, the entire population of Lozère could fit inside London's Wembley Stadium and still leave 24,000 seats empty. Lozère lies right in the heart of France's empty diagonal, a notably underpopulated swath of the country. Many departments in central France have far fewer people than those to its west and east. This raises the question: what causes this significant population disparity in one of Europe's biggest countries? History. Understanding France's historic population trend is key to grasping its past prominence and influence. The French philosopher Auguste Comte once remarked, "Demography is destiny," highlighting how France's large population played a crucial role in its success over the centuries. Historically, France had the largest population in Europe. During the Middle Ages, about 1 in 4 Europeans was French, and by the 17th century, it was still 1 in 5. Even during the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars, France had more people than any other European nation, surpassing Russia's population and nearly doubling that of the United Kingdom. At Napoleon's time, France was the world's 4th most populous country, behind only China, India, and Japan. This significant population advantage explains France's dominance in Europe during the medieval, Renaissance, and early industrial eras. Yet starting in the 19th century, France's population advantage over its neighbors began to dramatically decline. The country's birth rate started to fall in the late 18th century, earlier than in other European nations. The Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars then caused the deaths of nearly 2 million French citizens, leading to low population growth for the rest of the 19th century. During this time, deaths outnumbered births in France. The situation worsened during World War I, when France lost 10% of its male population in just 4 years, with 1.3 million men killed. The absence of millions of potential fathers during the war contributed to a population decrease of over 3 million. The rural areas of France felt this decline the most, especially as the country was urbanizing quickly and people were moving to major cities like Marseille, Lyon, Lille, and particularly Paris, which was expanding rapidly. Since the 17th century, Paris has been attracting hundreds of thousands of people from the countryside, leading to significant growth as these individuals sought better opportunities. By the early 20th century, 40% of France's population lived in rural areas. However, due to wars, the absence of men due to military service, falling birth rates, and the trend of moving to cities, by 1985, only 8% lived in the countryside, with nearly 20% of all French people residing in the Paris area alone. While wars and urbanization dramatically reduced rural populations, not all regions were equally affected. For instance, the French Alps and wine regions, thanks to tourism and industry, managed to maintain relatively stable populations. The phenomenon of the empty diagonal, a sparsely populated stretch from one landlocked side of France to another, can be partly explained by its distance from the coast. Considering that globally, 40% of people live near coastlines. This inland area, extending even into Spain, reflects broader demographic trends, including low birth rates that affect not just France, but other countries as well. The issue of sparse populations in certain areas of France isn't just about their distance from the coast. These regions are mainly used for farming, and as farming has become more mechanized and less labor-intensive worldwide, the need for agricultural workers has drastically decreased. About 40 years ago, 1.6 million people in France worked in agriculture, but now that number has dropped to around 400,000. With fewer job opportunities, people are moving away in search of better prospects. Additionally, areas with low populations tend to have fewer businesses and services, leading younger people to leave for places with more opportunities and amenities. Although the French government is aware of this issue and has looked into solutions, there's no easy fix. This pattern of people moving from rural areas to cities and from inland to coastal areas due to more economic opportunities is a global trend, not unique to France. So it's not surprising to see an increase in city populations. And that ends our episode for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, do hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to keep posted for more videos. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.